Welcome, my friends, where I discuss about what I experienced in America and what I seen in Vietnam since it was comparison to the two countries. Okay, so the first topic that we discuss is the politics structure. And in my home country, Vietnam is basically a communist country. And the reason why it was a communist country because we can't even vote in Vietnam. And the only thing that we care about is the government are trying to deal with the Chinese government. It's because due to the fact they gave us a low quality products. And even the media just lies to us, misleads us so badly that we even detect the lies from the propaganda. And in my opinion, I'll say it is a broken system. But as for politics leader, nobody cares anyways. I mean, it's so messed up these days now that we don't even care anymore. I mean, sure, we did care, but a little bit don't care though. Besides, nobody talks about politics. Not even my family discussed it because it's not fit for the family to discuss politics. So that's why this is my opinion. And in the Brenham, you can vote because it was a democracy country. Because it was a capitalism. It makes sense that I would support the capitalism because due to the fact that capitalism does some progress. And yes, it does have some flaws, but it's growing, basically. It's really growing. And for the fact that is that, I mean, like, it's just the same thing as every country. Nobody's gonna discuss about politics. Other than Donald Trump, that is. So yeah, that's my basically how the government deal in both different ways and what is my opinion and others' opinions about the government. And yeah, that's the end of the topic 1. The second topic that we discuss is economic structure. And in Vietnam, it was a central city of Vietnam. It's called Ho Chi Minh City. And in Ho Chi Minh City, we have an industry, job opportunities, and let's just say that well-educated one. Let's just say well-educated, I meant that it was worse. But we talk about that for a second there. Besides, there's a lot less on this down below. A lot of script that I write. We're about to create a subway chain thanks to the Americans and the Japanese. Well, mostly Japanese. Because we need to move more area that we really want to go. And for most part, easy to travel. And our main export is the seafood, rubber, and mostly rice. Obviously, it's Asia though, so we have rice. And in Brenham though, Brenham is a home place for the Bluebell's ice cream. It was recognized in Texas a lot. It was recognized a lot. And for one thing, Bluebell's ice cream was delicious, I must say. It was really delicious so far. And even I was a fan of it. And they also have the Brenham Living Center, which has helped the people who was finding a resident and disabilities, intellectual disability, mind you. And this center is also the largest one in the city, which is a small town in Brenham. There's also the Valmont industry, which is they make a metal pole that creates more jobs opportunity and business. And each year we have more. They have more than more resources and more consumed than ever before, mind you. And that's about the topic number 2. Topic number 3 is the geographic and the land use. And my home was supposed to be have a two season. It's a rainy season and a sunny season. In which cases, let's just say it was boring. It sucks. I mean, you have rainy season all the time, you have sunny season all the time. I mean, like, which cases, the rainy season causes a lot of flood, and the sunny season is, ooh, well, it's hot, but at least not cause flood or anything. And with these cases, if you're questioning what I'm wearing, well, I'm wearing different clothes because due to the fact that I tried the weather in Brenham. In which cases, yeah, Brenham is humid subtropical climate. We have like 4 seasons. So spring is basically like from cold to hot to the summer, and the summer is just plain hot. And for that fact is when it comes with fall, from hot falls down to cold, and after that it turns to winter. But for raining ones, well, let's just say that they blend together, basically. But for the fact the land uses, that Vietnam rural area, which case it's gonna be rice farming and various fruits. If you look like Phu Quoc, however, you can see that there's gonna be like seafoods and stuff. But in Brenham now it's quite different actually. So there's no rice farm, but there's some similarity of in Brenham. There's the land use of the livestock and other stuff like wood and metal, which is they use it quite often actually. So yeah, that's about it. Coming with number 4, we have called the folklore and history. And in Vietnam, the only thing that we celebrate is the importance of the Tết holiday, which is similar to Chinese New Year but Vietnamese, and Trung Thu, which is a full moon festival in Vietnam. And our leader fought with the Cold War. Our leader, Uncle Ho, the leader of North Vietnam, and everybody take the inspiration on him so much that they even posted every school. They posted this in the wall, which is a picture of Uncle Ho. And in Brenham, however, we located in Washington Courtney, which is the place where you can like farm, celebrate, and have a fair, and eat some good food and music, which is so fun. And Washington Courtney, it was basically established in like 1800s. And then there's a Blinn College, which is basically established in 1800s. So that's about it. For the 5th topic, we talk about religion. Basically in Vietnam, we are Buddhism. And we know that we use Buddhism for a lot of reasons. Due to the fact that Buddhism is basically about fortune, wealth, and health. But in Brenham though, it's a lot of Christian. They have 3 main things: Lutheran, Baptist, and Catholic. The reason why they're here because Americans want to know about faith, good forgiveness. The 6th one that I talked about is a social relation. And this topic that we're gonna talk about marriage between the different community. In my home community, it's arranged like the groom had to visit the bride's family and then have some relationship, and then after that the wedding starts in Vietnam. But in Brenham though, there's like Christian marriage. So a Christian marriage will start at needs a priest or a pastor. So that's basically how the marriage goes. But in the 2nd one though, it's about social relations. It's basically shows how the human interaction look like. For example, in my home community, we have some merit system. The rich is more powerful than the poor, and the poor can't do anything. The weak must die, the strong must live. That's basically it. But in Brenham though, no matter who you are, no matter if you're rich, poor, or anything that is around you, it doesn't matter. You're still you. I mean, everybody treats you like the same person. That made me feel natural, actually. Alright, so topic number 7 is the major concern. And we know that we have a whole lot, especially in my home community though, because due to the fact that we dealing with the Chinese government for making a low quality production value for the poor that still exists in my community. Because due to the fact that Vietnam is developing countries and Vietnam has a rich side and the poor side. The rich one is that we are developing something like a train, and not to mention the technology is still there. But for the poor side though, we still had to use the products the Chinese government just dump in Vietnam. It's like the Chinese government treat Vietnamese as a trash can, which is totally offensive because Vietnam also have trash. Keep your trash over there. We don't want your trash. But in Brenham though, the concern is the healthcare and the jobs, which is quite understandable because Brenham have some healthcares, but also have some problems with it. Keep in mind, it's a small town, so some jobs it could be cancelled or it could be popular, but no one's gonna join it because it could be low income or have some issues. In Vietnam though, we want to buy some US products, but we still keep the Chinese products because due to the fact that made in China product is so bad. We don't want Chinese government at all. Keep in mind that because we don't want the product to be like made in China. So we want the US instead. But instead we just got China. The only concern that the US worried is North Korea, ISIS, and Donald Trump, and other politics and stuff. But anywho, let's move on to the topic 8. The 8th topic that we're gonna discuss is education. In my home community, especially just for studies and copies all the time, you need to get like a 9 to graduate high school. Most of the teachers try to tell people to study, but everyone else don't have time. Sometimes they do the part-time jobs to get some money. They're gonna study that well, to be honest. And I bet people are gonna go insane if they study whole time on their life, unless they're skillful enough to be careful. And for most part, the people in Vietnam, like the education system is kind of a bit broken to this very point, which is why it's very different in Brenham, because Brenham is way better. You can choose to study. And not to mention that extra curriculum in Vietnam though, extra studies, pass this ridiculous test, or exam for that matter, you need to pay because how business works and how the economy is still struggling. Until our economy is improved, then we can get rid of this broken system of education. In Brenham though, there's an opportunity to join an organization and a club because you can choose anything. For example, there's a sports club, there's an art club, and there's a music club. But my favorite club of all time is esports club. And that's about it about education. Now we're moving on to number 9. Now we're gonna have some about pop cultures and food. In my home country though, we have Dustin Wing from 21 Jump Street in the 90s. And the US though, we have Jack Nicholson, who was a very known actor in the 90s and 80s. Is that he was famous for The Shining and also Batman. And for the foods though, pho is actually the popular one in Vietnam. In Brenham though, there's hot dog, hamburgers, Mexican foods, pizzas, meatloaf, the smoothie, Doritos, and other junk food in Brenham, especially McDonald's. That's the end of our culture and food. The final topic is recreation. And in Vietnam, all we do is the joggings outside. Sometimes we stay home. Other times we go to shoppings. And most of all, people who attended to the street food and then sell them. Sometimes at the market, sometimes near the public school, and they just selling foods outside the school without the convenience store. But in Brenham though, it's kind of a bit different. In my point of view, most of the kids in Brenham stay at home, playing video games. Sometimes they go outside. That's basically their activities. In Vietnam, the main thing about sport is soccer. In Brenham though, have more variety on the sports. Have American football, basketball, and baseball. Conclusion is this country and my country are different. And I like it. People are different. And that's about all it is on the video. So thank you for watching.